welcome to episode 25 of Nintendo Therapy, a show about the latest Nintendo news and rumors, as well as a celebration of all things Nintendo. I am Kevin, and with me this week is Momo.
G'day, legends.
Sean.
Hey.
And Harrison.
Hey, welcome back.
And this week, it is another slow news week, but I did very last second get a news item I'm very excited about, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, how's everybody's Nintendo week been? You all been playing some Nintendo games?
So I've been digging into the new Mario Kart DLC.
Ooh.
Oh, I have questions about that.
What are your questions?
Yeah, because I was gonna. Well, my first question was, did anyone play the new DLC? But I watched videos on the new track. What's called the squeaky clean sprint.
That's a fun one. I like that one. That's really good.
Do you think it was home circuit inspired? Because
it could be.
Immediately what my mind went to.
That makes sense.
Because you're just in like Miyamoto's bathroom,
which is very clean.
I'm assuming it's Miyamoto's bathroom.
So, yeah, that's fun, and I'm so happy Koopa Cape is back. That's one of my favorite tracks.
Oh yeah. What do you think about Kamek in Mario Kart now?
I mean, adding characters.
I didn't realize.
I mean, good for them, but I always play as Donkey Kong, so it doesn't matter. But I did notice that Wiggler just looks utterly uncomfortable. They just shoved him into the cart and were like, there, enjoy your scoliosis worm.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize that Kamek has never been a playable character. And fun fact, he was supposed to be in the 64 version, in the 64 game, but he was replaced by Donkey Kong.
Could change up.
I agree.
Yeah, which is like those are like on different tiers. I mean, I really like both of those characters, but they're like very like one's much more popular. But besides making cameos in games like Double Dash, Super Circuit, he's never been a playable character, which I didn't realize.
Yeah, I think they got 2 characters left, and I'm curious what the last 8 courses will be, because then I can finally have my crazy 96 track Mario Kart tournament at 200cc. But I mean, it is a lot of karting, but
that's more driving than I do in real life in a week.
I have a Mario Kart trophy I made, and I want to legitimately have someone take a chance at it. So 200cc seems to be the fair way.
You made a Mario Kart trophy?
Out of an amiibo.
That's funny, because I was thinking of having a Mario Party night soon.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
You're all invited. I will not be funding your airfare, though. But yeah.
But you know the story, Mario Party destroys friendships, yeah? Same with Mario
exactly.
Kart, yeah?
I think we're all adults. We can handle any random dice rolls.
We're not that close to begin with. I mean, Sean and Kevin might be, but I barely know.
I mean,
Momo.
I am from Australia. That's some people in the world think doesn't exist, and we're paid actors. But you know,
it's a Truman Show.
Could be. You never know.
Australia is where one of my favorite mystery people is from. I love unsolved mysteries, and there's the I can't think of the guy's name, but it's a famous like unsolved case where the guy was found in Australia, and his body was found naked, and then he had like a super rare book. I don't have all the details in front of me, but he had a copy of a super rare book on him, and like there's no information on who this guy was. It's a really fascinating case. I wish I knew more off the top of my head.
Well, I mean, that's the first I've heard of it, so.
But I'm thinking maybe it was Momo faking his death is what I'm thinking.
Hey, could have been. You never know. Truman Show.
Well, it wasn't a super rare book. It was just a super rare game. You see.
Yeah, but I'm totally up for that. Like,
does that answer all your questions, Harrison, about the Mario Kart DLC?
My general question: did anyone play?
I haven't yet. I've been too busy to play, so I want to.
Yeah. Yeah, Wave 5, I can't believe it. Like seriously, like, are they just gonna release Mario Kart 8 on the new system? Like, because like where do we
Well, it's
go
simple.
from
I
here?
was thinking about that. They should just not do a Mario Kart next system, and then they can bring F-Zero back, and then everyone's happy.
No, what they need to do to finish off Mario Kart 8 before they even think about it is bring back Block Fort to battle, and then we've completed full circle. That's all they have to do. Bring Block Fort. We got one DLC pack left. Bring Block Fort back to battle. That's it. That's all I want. I'll play that 24/7 if I have to.
Nintendo, you hear that?
Block
Please
Fort.
make Momo's dreams come true.
Please. Block Fort. My 90s childhood dream. I need it back.
Last news item from this: Mario Kart 8 was listed third in sales in the UK this past week, which is just pretty insane. Tears of the Kingdom is still number 1, while Final Fantasy 16 is number 4 right now. They reported. But I was surprised to see just with having new DLC that this game is still selling that well.
I'm still slacking on Tears of the Kingdom, so
Yes. Same here,
Yep,
mate.
me too.
I don't want it to end. I've just been taking it easy.
But it's the Zelda game for like the next 5-6 years. As we kind of talked about this last week about, like the hype has kind of worn down. People are starting to stream it more and everything, and people are still making discoveries. They'll make discoveries for years. You can play the game until the next one comes out.
Okay, so the mystery was called the Somerton Man. I found it.
Oh, Somerton. I know.
and-
That's in Victoria, mate. That's where I am.
And apparently the key to the mystery that I couldn't remember is he was found with a weird substitution cipher written inside that rare book that there aren't a lot of copies of, and no one's ever been able to solve the puzzle. No one's ever been able to figure out what he was writing. So that's a cool mystery.
It's Somerton Park in Adelaide. Sorry, I thought it was Somerton in Victoria where I live. No, it's in Adelaide. Well,
It says, maybe you'll know where this is. He was found lying against a seaside wall on Somerton Beach in Adelaide on December 1st, 1948.
Yeah, so that's Adelaide. Yeah, so I'm in Victoria, which is like the state next to him. So we also have a Somerton as well, like a suburb called Somerton as well. So I thought it was here, but no, Somerton Park, Adelaide. I don't know where it is in Adelaide, but I know obviously of Adelaide. But,
And this article says they might have actually solved the mystery recently, like last year using 2022. Yeah, last year using DNA. Okay, I'm going to have to reread this when I'm not doing a podcast. But they finally solved it after 70 years. Okay.
Oh, your interest is peaked now.
Yeah. I finished Mario Odyssey this week, and I want some applause for it. I got all 880 moons. It was really fun.
wow.
I just wish they had a new game plus, because believe it or not, after getting the 880 moons, you haven't collected enough coins to buy all the outfits. They have like a bunch that they add at the end that are like thousands of coins. And it would be nice to start over with like all the outfits, even if you keep away the story ones and just like let you start with the ones that are inconsequential. But
Well, for your hard work.
awesome. Yeah. No, it's there's a few hard ones at the end. I'll say that end marathon did take me like 2 days. The final 3 moons, it's one of those triple moons. You have to do like this giant marathon where there's no checkpoints. If you die, you have to start all over.
Ooh.
Oh, fun.
I mean, obviously there had to be. I mean, obviously we got the new 2D Mario coming, which is fine. But that means I think this is the new 2D Mario is supposed to be like they just slapped it together. Not slapped it per se, put it together so it keeps us eating while we're waiting for the next like Odyssey or 3D Mario that's going to come. Because obviously they're obviously designed making one clearly after Odyssey being so good.
At this point, I'm starting to think there will be a 3D Mario on the next Nintendo system, which I fully believe is coming soon for reasons we'll get to in our rumors section. But
Ooh.
let's tackle
what's
some news.
This news that got all
I'm saving the good one. I'll start off with this rather bland piece of news here. Japanese website The Nikkei has reported that Nintendo Switch has had its best June ever this year, 2023. Obviously helped by The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which received critical acclaim and sold them a lot of units. The Nintendo Switch family of systems, they're calling it now, I guess because of the OLED and the handheld one, it managed to sell 380,000 units in Japan, 68% higher than June of 2022. So that's significant.
Yeah.
Not surprised, and it's selling well. As I said, like it's remained number one in the UK for I don't know how many weeks that is now, 4 or 5 weeks. So, like it's not a surprise to me. I wonder how many households actually have a Switch in Japan now.
It's mandatory.
80%.
Yeah,
yeah,
that would be a good figure to find.
Yeah,
though. Maybe I'll table that for next week.
We need a stats guy.
He's on vacation, man.
Guy in
it's
the
July.
Show. We need a Jimmy or a Jamie. I don't watch Joe Rogan. I don't know.
I didn't even know he had a stats guy. I've never heard it. But yeah.
No, he has the video guy where he's always like, pull that up, pull up that video or whatever. Again, I have Apple Music and I don't have Spotify.
I can teach my dogs a lot of tricks, but that's probably a little much for them. Next news item. Super Mario Brothers movie will begin streaming exclusively on Peacock starting Thursday, August 3rd. So we finally know when that's going to streaming.
5 people who haven't seen it.
There will also be, I thought this was interesting. I have Peacock, but I haven't fired it up in forever. So I don't know if this is normal, but it says there's going to be bonus features on Peacock. There's going to be behind the scenes interviews.
Some of the services do stuff like that.
Okay. It says behind the scenes interviews with cast and other bonus features, plus a lyric video for the Peaches song.
Isn't that the lyrics?
Wow. So this is like DVD, like special features, but like in
God,
streaming
I missed
form.
that. I could go on and on about my favorite DVD features. It's something that I totally miss, but I'll just short story say the best one I feel like they ever did besides Star Wars. I think they had a lot. The Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies always had like a full extra disc, and I remember the first movie had like a full documentary about like each department. It was like here's a 40-minute thing about the costume department for Spider-Man. Here's 40 minutes about what?
I know it's not your thing, but being a horror fan and a physical media guy, those always have stuff on them. So just start watching the making of.
Well, maybe for horror, but that was one of the reasons I stopped getting physical media is they stopped putting that stuff on there. Like I was getting DVDs, especially the Marvel movies. They barely had anything. So moving on, the Final Fantasy franchise, this is one Harrison sent me. They've passed an impressive sales milestone, reaching 180 million units sold, which is, it is huge, but it's also, I'm wondering, what's that?
Low? Is that low for them?
No, 180 million. Like a typical successful game will be like 5 million units.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, doesn't it feel like it's a bit low?
Well, I'm wondering if they're only including the main franchise here because
it's not
low. But what I'm saying is if they're including every single thing that's connected to Final Fantasy, I feel like there's like over 100 games. But if they're only including the main series, then that's incredible because 16 games, that's an average of over 10 million a game, which obviously
no, I'm pretty sure it includes everything, and I wanted to do some trivia for you guys. And Kevin, the first one might be kind of more for you, but anyone can join. Can you name the top 5 best selling Final Fantasy games? Or
I'll
7.
try.
Seven's number 1.
I was gonna say
10?
7 remake. He was asking me, Sean.
No, it can be everyone.
Yeah, 10's
but,
probably in there.
okay.
That's all I got.
10 is number 4. 10 is number 4.
I know Final Fantasy 8 outsold 7 at the time, so
8 is number 5.
So I remember that because I think 8
numbers.
is way worse, and I don't like that it outsold 7.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess 9 since those are all in that same period.
Not 9, but 9 was really close.
That's my favorite one.
So number 2 and 3 are pretty
Okay,
late.
so is 7 remake on there? Wow.
No, not yet. Number 2 is 15, and number 3 is 14.
15 is in the top. That game's so bad.
Wow. Right, but it just kind of goes to show like the success of like previous titles, and like Final Fantasy 16 is going to be in the top 5.
Final Fantasy 15, like, besides 16, is the only one I haven't finished because it's so boring.
Yeah, well, but like I mean, we're talking about sales, and we're not talking about Metacritic scores or anything like that. I mean, there's been plenty of games that were not so good that sold well, but it just goes to show like the ongoing success. And I wouldn't be surprised if this new Final Fantasy game, the new 7, whatever we're doing next year, is going to be even better. So there have been 12 franchises that have sold more than 200 million units. 12 franchises that are more than Final Fantasy. Can you name those franchises?
I'm going to guess Pokemon.
Pokemon's one of them. Okay, how about you, Sean?
Mario.
Mario is number 1. Momo?
Wait, did you say Zelda already?
No. Zelda has not sold 200 million.
Wow.
Zelda is number 16.
That is surprising.
Yeah, Zelda has sold 140 million. In context, that Breath of the Wild has sold about 28 million. By far
I have a random guess based on a documentary I watched. I'm willing to bet Tetris is in there.
Okay, so you got Tetris is number 2, Pokemon's number 3, and Mario.
Because I feel like
number
Tetris
1.
has sold like over
3.
300 million or something crazy. I remember from a documentary I saw.
Yeah. Tetris is like 500 million. They say
That's insane.
It's like it's like $500 million. It's ridiculous. It's insane. So you get the top 3. There's some pretty obvious ones. Oh, I also mentioned that Super Mario is listed separately, and it's still at like 400 million.
Is Call of Duty on there?
Call of Duty's number 4.
Madden? No, Madden's only American. Never mind. Never mind. As soon as I said it,
Madden is close. So Madden is actually number 17.
Oh, okay.
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto is number 5. Ooh. So that's the top 6. Number 7 is a sports game.
Probably FIFA? If it's international.
FIFA. Number 8 is the best selling sandbox game ever.
Minecraft.
I never think of that as a sandbox game, and it totally is.
Or whatever. Next one on the list, they put down the Wii series, which was a pack-in game, but the Wii series, including Wii Sports, was over 200 million. So there's that, and then there are 3 more ahead of Final Fantasy. There's the Lego franchise, the Sims franchise, and Assassin's Creed.
Oh wow, Assassin's Creed sold that much.
So I just think about it because eventually, I mean, this franchise is going to pass 200 million, which in my opinion is this huge milestone, and the only franchises above that are like
What's
huge.
crazy because you didn't
Like,
list it? That means that Final Fantasy has sold more games than Star Wars, which
Yeah,
there's like 1,000 Star Wars games.
Yeah, but Final Fantasy has been around a lot
True.
long. Like, well,
No,
around the same time they've been around.
yeah, there were Star Wars games on the NES.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
To be fair, I mean, Lego is listed above Final Fantasy, and they include the Lego Star Wars games.
That's true.
That's the only one I think. That's the only one on this list that would be like that. But Star Wars, I don't see it. I don't see it on. I don't think they've sold 100 million. Honestly,
Wow.
yeah. Because and then after like Zelda, Resident Evil, Need for Speed, Sonic, you get things like Madden, 2K. Oh, Star Wars, 124 million. There it is.
Okay, so still less than Final Fantasy though. That's
so it's number 19 on the list.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I think that's gonna be a big milestone, and considering the hype of Final Fantasy coming into 2024, perhaps they reach it in the next few years.
Oh, they'll
I could see
definitely.
that.
If Final Fantasy 16's got a lot of hype behind it, so the series isn't going anywhere. If anything, that'll just make Final Fantasy 17 come out quicker. Because there was like a lull, I feel like, where they were trying to milk their MMORPGs, like 14 and 11. I feel like the reason that 13 got so many sequels is they were like, we don't want to do a Final Fantasy 15 because 14, the online one, is giving us so much money. So they didn't do a 15 forever.
Yeah. And what's the new 7 game coming out next year? I'm so lost.
Which one? Because they're doing not the remake you're talking about.
Not the the one they just announced, the one they just showed the trailer for, the massive
Okay, so
one.
what you're talking about, the mobile game?
Is it a mobile game?
If we're talking about the same one, they're doing a mobile game, which is basically it's taking the remake is like a reimagining of Final Fantasy VII, and the mobile game is basically for people like me who are like, can you just give me the same game but updated? So what they're doing is they're updating Final Fantasy VII, but they're also including everything that's been connected to the story. So if you want to experience like all the spin-off games and side series, they're doing a mobile game that takes you through everything related to Final Fantasy VII in chronological order, so you can see the entire story. And that's more of what I'm interested in, because I don't like that they're changing the story. I'm like, give the new generation a way to experience the great story you had to begin with.
That's kind of cool, though. I mean,
over 6 discs.
Certain, yes. Certain franchises don't take advantage or not in the right way, like educate their audience of the history of the franchise, and sometimes it doesn't matter so much. But with 16 so games, then yeah, I mean, it's cool that they do that, and that's just gonna, I'm sure, funnel more people into that franchise and make people say, oh, I should go back and buy or play the other games.
It's called Ever Crisis, if we're talking about the same game.
I don't know anymore. Like,
so yeah, Ever Crisis is going to include stuff from like the prequel game with Zack. I can't remember the name of that game off the top of my head. Crisis Core. It's going to include Crisis Core. It's going to include chapters from the anime. It's going to include chapters from the Advent Children movie. Basically anything that's ever had Final Fantasy VII's label on it, it's going to take you through it, including the actual Final Fantasy VII story. So I think it's going to get released in chapters, they've said, and it's a mobile game.
And what did you include in the notes about Final Fantasy 2?
Oh, that was
Didn't you
just
say
because
something
Sean and I
that
were
prompted
talking this week. He was playing Final Fantasy 1, and I just wanted to, if it came up, talk about why Final Fantasy 2 is bad. Because you asked me, Sean texted me this week asking why people think 2 is bad because he hasn't started it yet, right? You still haven't started it, right?
Nah, I just get the airship in 1.
Okay. So yeah, and I just had some answers for him, which Final Fantasy 2 is bad because of the leveling system. So you don't gain any experience points in the game. It's kind of like Skyrim where you level things based on how you use them, but it's not done well in any way. So you end up doing this thing where like you need to level your cure spell so that it works better. So you end up curing party members that are already at full health. So you're just wasting the spell, using it over and over again just so it levels up. But then your party members aren't gaining any hit points because in order to gain hit points, they have to finish the fights with less hit points. And then there's a million like different variations of that problem. And what it results in is you can't enjoy the story of the game because you're so focused on like every battle. You're focused on what stats are going to change by the end of it, and you never see the bigger picture. That was that note.
Okay.
And this brings us to the thing that I saw right as we started to record. This was the news story that made me go, "Oh my goodness!"
You hyped this up.
I hyped you up, and you're going to be very disappointed. It's something that I love, though, and it's another thing to add to the list of Switch games that I'll never finish this list. This is like 8 games now I need to buy. Limited Run Games has concluded their 2023 showcase. There was a lot of content revealed, and some of it for Nintendo Switch. The final announcement they had for their presentation is that it features the return of a video game franchise that hasn't seen a new game in over 20 years. Limited Run Games and Square Enix have announced that the Gex trilogy will be included on the Switch. So you're going to get Gex, Enter the Gecko, Gex 3 Deep Cover Gecko, and the one that's just called Gex. No release date at this time.
That's actually kind of cool.
Talk about blast from the past.
It'll be coming to Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, PC, and that's it.
Wasn't the original on Sega?
I don't know where they started.
PlayStation
it was that weird system like 3DO or something was the first Gex game. It was supposed to be like a mascot. He was supposed to be like a mascot for one of them. Was it 3DO? I'm trying to look it up really quick right now.
I thought original was
no, it was on the
PlayStation.
Sega Saturn and PlayStation.
Oh wait, no, it was released for 3DO.
3DO was where it started, yeah. And the 3DO was kind of relying on him to sell their systems, but then they ended up releasing it on everything else, so it didn't help them at all.
Yeah, because I think I remember playing it on Sega Saturn.
But yes, it was on Saturn. The first game was on Saturn, PC, PlayStation, everything but Nintendo, actually, for that generation.
Wow.
And then Nintendo 64 got the sequel, Enter the Gecko.
You know what? I think this is actually a good news story.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, actually, because I never...
Good job, Kevin.
I never beat Enter the Gecko, so now I could.
Yeah, same here. I never beat... I don't think I beat any of them.
That's actually the only one I've played, and I liked it. I had the Nintendo 64 version, and I finished it because it's a Mario 64 type game, and I'm starting to realize those are my favorite type of game. So I'll definitely be getting this.
Yeah, no.
Well, this game...
That's another trilogy of older games to sit on my Switch, along with the Crash Bandicoot games and the Spyro collection.
Put it right next to Metal Gear Solid or
that too.
Whatever else is coming out in the next year.
No, that's a good story. I'm glad you found that out.
Yeah, it's cool. I didn't really like Gex, man. Like the reviews for this game are all over the place. Like you have like game rankings giving it a 60, but then you have Game Informer giving it like a 9 out of 10. Like people either loved or hated this game.
I'd say it's somewhere in the middle. I mean, like I said, I only played the second one, and the second one was, it was a serviceable game. But if they price it right, like if it's priced the same as the trilogies that I listed, I bought those, so I'll buy this.
No,
it's
I think
probably also something that'll end up on like Game Pass and PlayStation Plus and something.
Yeah, exactly. I think this would be a perfect Game Pass
100%.
game.
Especially like Game Pass Mobile. Like you can just use the if you don't have the controller, you can just use the the heads up like joystick, virtual joystick.
So the rumors that I teased earlier, it's not anything big. In fact, it's something we've said on this podcast before, but the rumors for the next Nintendo Switch console, there was more talk this week from, you remember I brought up at one point there was a manufacturer that works with Nintendo. Apparently they have a large order that they, won't say what it is, but they wouldn't say either way. It's not like, but apparently it's been found out that they have a large order of like millions of these metal cases that they make for, I lost it. I think it was March of next year. It was something in the first quarter of 2024. And I obviously people are speculating, and they're actually pretty much saying, they're like, if they announce the new system in October, that would be the exact timetable the Switch used. So just a little bit interesting there. And I'm really starting to believe a new system might come next year, even if it's not first quarter. And new 3D Mario with it. Saying it now.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think they're gonna the game that's gonna open with the new console will be a Mario game, 3D Mario. Zelda will be ported over. The Zelda, they'll probably do like like a collection, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, like a collection together. Probably be come over as well.
Yeah, last week we reported them saying something about how that this wasn't like a confirmed thing, but it was rumors that the next system will be compatible with the same library. So that would be good.
Yeah, and then hopefully, all I want from this new system is just a bit more power. If it's handheld or whatever, just a bit more power. So you can give the system a chance to, just, I mean, I don't care, like, Zelda looks, like, Tears of the Kingdom looks amazing, but if it had a bit more oomph to it, I'll be a little bit more happy with it. But, I mean, I'm happy with the Switch I have now, but, I mean, I just want Nintendo just to, I know they're not in the, like, console, like, Xbox has, like, oh, this is a 12 teraflop, like, 4K 30, I don't need Nintendo to be like that. Nintendo just do Nintendo, but I just want them to have a bit more oomph in their system.
So
Yeah.
I was going through the announcements they listed. There's one other one that's awesome, at least to me. There's a Jurassic Park collection coming out with all the old games.
Ooh.
Oh, sweet.
I remember the old Nintendo one.
You could maybe actually beat the Super Nintendo one now.
With save states, yeah, because there was no way to save your progress in that game at all. Not even a password system.
You know what? I remember
it's a long game.
I remember that game. One of the things I remember is I had like a voice, like a bit of voice cues now and again in that game.
Yeah.
And I remember in the first level, all I heard was "Welcome to Jurassic Park,"
and it had like a first-person point of view when you went inside the buildings, which was rare at the time.
Yeah. All right, that's. I was just looking, but yeah, it's like 5 games.
That's
I don't
cool.
know. I might get that.
Nah, man,
Nice. More old games come to the Switch.
Yeah, but like a game like that, that's a game like it was probably when I was younger. It's too hard for me to finish. I don't remember finishing that game. So to go back now as an adult to play it, not only for nostalgia but to actually finish it, is I'm cool with that.
Okay, and since it was a slow news week, I had an idea where I grabbed this really quick. I went to the Nintendo page on Metacritic. I just thought it might be fun to run down a couple of Nintendo's highest rated games on Metacritic and say whether we think it is overrated or underrated, depending on the score it got. So or appropriately rated, if you want to say that. So yeah, I figured this would be a fun little exercise. This is all of Nintendo's highest rated Metacritic titles. The number one, and I've heard this is the top game on Metacritic, full stop, is Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Still has a 99 Metacritic score.
Greatest of all time.
I would say that's a little overrated, but it's just my opinion.
My philosophy is there's no game that's a 99, so it's overrated.
The user score is 9.1. I'd say that is underrated.
That's fine.
I would give it a 9.5. But yeah,
I don't have decimals or percentages in my mind, but yeah, I wouldn't give my favorite game of all time a 100 or a 99. And that's where Metacritic kind of loses me sometimes, because people review bomb and then people respond with perfect scores, and I'm like, no, Tears of the Kingdom was not a perfect game. It's amazing. It's one of my favorite games, but it's not a perfect game. That's our little rant.
Yeah, I agree. And so I have a feeling most of these we're going to come away saying overrated, but still a good game. But the next game on the list is Super Mario Galaxy, is a 97 on Metacritic, 9.1 audience score as well. I'm going to say that's overrated.
That's a little overrated, and I really like that game. So
I really like that game. I would not give it a 9 out of 10. I don't think.
I'm going to say overrated because it's not my top Mario game. So having recency bias right now, I think Odyssey might be my favorite 3D Mario. And yeah, that's not even in the games I can see right now. So Odyssey should be in that spot, not Galaxy. Any thoughts on Galaxy, Momo?
I mean, Galaxy's. I mean, when it first came out, I love Galaxy. I mean, Odyssey's like an evolved version of Galaxy and 64 together. I feel.
Yep.
I mean, except for the obviously the mechanics in space and stuff like that, but the settings are set in space, but the mechanics itself and all the things that in every Mario game you got. All the mechanics and most things in every Mario game prior to Odyssey are actually in Odyssey. So if you think about it, Odyssey is a wrapped up package with everything all together.
Mm-hmm.
So so you can't argue that Odyssey is the definitive, a definitive version of the Mario 3, Mario 64, Mario 3D. Which I'm with, But that said, the nostalgia of playing those games when they all came out and stuff like that, you can't really, at a time when the Wii came out and stuff like that and like that. So, I mean, it's hard for me to pick between the two. But, I mean, I do love Galaxy, but I think Odyssey is it encapsulates everything that Mario is in one game, if that makes sense. So I can't give you an answer. I'm just going to go with the handball.
Well, I don't know if anyone has any different thoughts on this game, but pretty predictably, the next one up is Super Mario Galaxy 2 with the same rating.
Oh no! Really? I was thinking the next one was another N64 game, which I'm sure is somewhere on this list.
GoldenEye?
Yeah, there's gonna be a few more.
Yeah. I overrated. I don't know. I mean,
I think it's less good than Galaxy 1, so I wouldn't put it that high.
Yeah, I think Galaxy 1 was better than Galaxy 2.
Yeah.
Next up, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has a 97, which I feel is closer to appropriately rated than Ocarina of Time was, but I feel like they're both 95s to me. I texted Sean this week. I keep telling Sean, I keep saying on here everything I text Sean, but I texted him this week about I was like, they give out too many 10 out of 10s on the internet these days. There's probably been a handful of 10 out of 10s in my life, and I stand by that. And 97 is pretty close. Yeah,
thinking about it, the only one I could come up with was Link to the Past.
Oof.
That's definitely, yeah, I'd say that's a 10 out of 10 because if it were longer, you know, it would lose something, but it's like the perfect like amount of time to take. And yeah,
but that's literally all I could come up with. So
no, I mean, for me, I think nostalgia plays a big part of it, and like being young as well. So for me, like Ocarina of Time, I'm cool with it being 99. You know, but that's just because like a nostalgia, and as a kid and playing with my dad and stuff like that and things like that. That's why I still, in my mind, it's still a perfect game. So, and I can't change that. It's just like it's in me that Ocarina, and the fact of the matter that I see it in this modern age, number one above everything else, still puts a smile on my face.
and then the next game is also a 97, Perfect Dark for the Nintendo 64. Was that the game you were thinking, Harrison?
No, because we haven't gotten to Mario 64 yet.
So
Have we?
Having spent a lot of time with Perfect Dark, multiplayer is really fun, but
Yes.
no, the campaign is not worth it being a 97.
No, yeah, that one I would say is the most overrated so far. Like, yes, the battle mode's great. Can you even play the campaign anymore? You know, like
What's the audience score on this one?
audience score is an 8.8 for Perfect Dark.
Okay, that seems a lot better. Okay, because yeah, like a lot of this is feeling like I think if you're giving Perfect Dark a 10 out of 10, that means more than likely you grew up playing this game and you loved it. Like, I don't know, but maybe that's just my bias. Like,
Yeah,
I
think you're completely right.
It's a really fun
because
game.
This is definitely scored off of people's memory of the game and not having played it recently.
Yeah.
All right, next is Metroid
I don't know,
Prime, a 97. The audience score is a 9.
I can't say because I haven't really sat down with the remake, so I don't know.
Well, this is the GameCube version.
Well, I hadn't played that version either, so I can't say.
That feels pretty good. I mean, that's way too high for me, but it feels pretty good. I mean, that was an amazing.
I'd
game.
say the audience
and
score there is right as well. Like a 9's good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel pretty good about that. It was again an awesome game when it came out, and it's still great today. But there's going to be nostalgia based on that game.
Yeah. I don't remember playing it on the GameCube, so I can't really give you an accurate like view on it. So, but I mean,
That's
from
the
what
only way I've played it on the GameCube on a CRT TV back in the day.
That big square thing.
Yep.
Magic.
I still haven't played the remake yet. That's on my giant list of Switch games to play.
Your ever-growing Switch list.
Yep.
Started it and then haven't gone back to it since when that come out, February.
Okay, and next, it was on here. So next is Super Mario Odyssey. I guess it just didn't get as many votes. It's because these are all still 97s. Next game, it switches down to a 96, but these are all 97s.
Okay.
And audience
give
score
Odyssey
is an
that.
8.9.
Okay. So what's 96?
It drops to a 96 for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Wii U. I guess they separated them.
Metacritic does do that, and that's fair. I mean, there's certain games that are horrible or are horrible ported. Okay. Do they have Super Nintendo on Metacritic, or is that too early?
I don't think so. I don't see any on this list. The oldest Nintendo system on this list is Game Boy Advance.
Right. Because I know that like for example, like Golden Sun is like a must play for Metacritic.
Yeah.
But Super Nintendo, like I would assume that Link to the Past would be somewhere up here if it was an actual Metacritic score.
Then another 96 is GoldenEye 007.
There it is.
Audience score is an 8.9. So the audience score is 0.1 better than Perfect Dark.
Yeah, that's because of bloody multiplayer.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Again,
exactly.
it's the multiplayer. It's not the I mean, I'd say the campaign's a little more playable in that, but
it's all the multiplayer. Same with the Perfect Dark. It's forget the story, mate. Everyone played that game because of the multiplayer.
I'm so surprised like how relevant and how many like references that game still makes today. Like there are multiple NBA teams that during timeouts they use the pause screen music from GoldenEye. Like multiple teams still do that now because like it's something that sticks in like people's minds that are like our age.
And then it's just a flood of Zelda. I'll read these quick. So next is 96, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Audience score is a 9.
Yep.
I wouldn't go that high with that one, but okay.
Exact same score for Wind Waker.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Slightly lower score for Tears of the Kingdom, but it's a newer game and it probably got review bombed. It's a 96 Metacritic score, but the audience score is an 8.5 instead of a 9.
I haven't played enough where I could even judge it. So.
Exactly. And review bombs are real because there is so much hype for this game, and if it's popular, I mean, people are going to review bomb.
This shouldn't count. Okay, so the next we're dropping down a point to 95 now, and the first one at 95 is The Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition on GameCube, which was just it was just a Ocarina of Time and a Majora's Mask disc.
Really?
And the audience score on that is 8.9. I have it, but I wouldn't count it as its own thing. I think it was a pre-order reward too. I don't think they sold it. But anyway, 95, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, audience score 9.1. And then it made it on here, Harrison. 95, The Legend of Zelda A Link to the Past for the Game Boy Advance.
Oh.
And it's got a 9 for an audience score.
I mean, that's a
I actually like
98 if you're going to put a number on it, but okay.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, didn't think about that. So I think at the end we reached it. I think I was pretty much overrated for most of these based on my own feelings and philosophy. But I think at the end we got there. I think that one is correctly rated.
I mean, this list is it's obviously just the more popular games get voted on, but there's so much missing from Nintendo's history. It's pretty much all just Mario and Zelda on here, and one Smash Brothers game.
Well, but if you think about it, Mario and Zelda are their two pillars of their.
It gets really weird at the end. I'm going to drop down to 93. So towards the end of the list, Flipnote Studios on the DS has a 93. That's in their top-rated games.
Yeah. This is also Metacritic though. Yeah. Like Metacritic is very consumer, and it's there to give you information on specific games on specific systems, which is good because again, like there's plenty of remakes, plenty of ports that are just not good. So,
there is a Mario Kart on here too. Okay,
which one? That's the big question.
Mario Kart Super Circuit for Game Boy Advance.
Just get boom. Nailed it. I had no idea. I'm just guessing.
No, but I'm just now noticing like the top like 20 are just Zelda and Mario back and forth. Zelda, Mario, Zelda. Oh no, there was the Metroid and the Perfect Dark and the GoldenEye. Okay. But pretty much the majority of this list is Zelda and Mario and
Zelda Mario Guns.
Yeah.
Zelda Mario Guns.
And then towards the bottom, just making the first page, because that's all I took the notes from. Banjo-Kazooie has a 92, audience score of a 9.2, so that matches perfectly. And then Advance Wars. Also a 92. Audience score 8.8. So just something I thought was worth looking at. It's we didn't have to go through the whole thing, and anyone can load up Metacritic if they want to know more about it. It's just it's interesting to see what is so commercially successful. I thought Smash Brothers would have been higher on here. That's interesting.
Yeah, you'd think that, wouldn't you?
And Mario Kart, since everybody owns it. But okay, let's head on over to the Spotlight game. Everybody play their Dynamite Headdy this week?
Not me. Unfortunately, due to work, I've been out of commission on gaming. But I look forward to listening to your guys'
Have you ever
thoughts.
played Dynamite Headdy?
No, exactly. That's why I said I'm looking.
Okay. Well, it was a Sega Genesis game. Came out August 5th, 1994. I never played this back in the day, but I kind of wish I had, because I feel like this would have been a perfect rental game. I didn't get too into it now, but what I'm saying is, like, I feel like if this was my only game to play for a weekend, I could have gotten hugely into it. But like, with all the modern distractions, it just didn't hold me.
I got to the second level and I couldn't get past that, and I didn't get into it enough to keep going. But I like that I didn't know Treasure made it, so I like that company, obviously, Sin and Punishment. But for a brief moment, I got it mixed up with Decap Attack, which is similar, I guess. I don't think you have power-ups for your head in that, though.
No, but you do like headbutts.
But I liked that concept of it, that you swapped out your head for different power-ups. And I like that they do the stage play thing like Mario 3.
Yeah, it looked like I was going to say that the curtain that they separate, it looks identical to the Super Mario Brothers 3 curtain.
Yes. That is the biggest point. The number one, the first thing I put on my sheet for this game, it's that it feels very much inspired by Super Mario Brothers 3, which, you know me, that's fine. that is perfectly fine. But going along with that, I love, as much as this game I think lacks focus. I mean, there's 18 power-ups in the game, which I think is way too much. They're constantly throwing random stuff at you. I love the ambition from this game. It's too much, and that's okay. Like I think that's all right. Like, they tried so many different ideas, so many different quirky things. Like, I love all the cat bosses in this game.
Yep.
I just think that, like, this feels like a game where they were throwing so many different things at the board that they loved, and they just wanted to keep all of it. Whereas I feel like they could have made like another game after this and made it less, like cut the power-ups in half, but I mean, I enjoyed this game much more than Earthworm Jim, which I related to a lot. I found that the animations and the characters were more lively. I didn't have as many problems with the assets in the background. Earthworm Jim, I had so many problems with not knowing which were assets and which were things you're supposed to hit. So yeah. Also, I want to know if Cuphead was inspired by this game, because the amount of overly over the top huge bosses that take up your entire screen, and then you got to get real close and hit them.
Yeah,
and this very much feels like a get good game, and I feel like Cuphead might have been inspired by Dynamite Headdy.
So,
I wonder.
Maybe it's because I was a Nintendo household when I was a kid, but am I crazy, or are platformers on Genesis just more difficult?
The ones that I played as a kid are more difficult. I mean,
some of them are. The one you mentioned, though, Decap Attack, I don't think is that difficult. There's like, I'd say there's a range.
Okay, because I mean, for what's on the service, so
for what's on the service that they do, I think have more difficult ones.
The third Genesis game we've done, but I liked it, and like Kevin said, like if it was a rainy weekend like we had, and it's like, no, that's it, you have Dynamite Headdy or go read a book, then I probably would have got further in it because I enjoyed it. But
Right.
I was just kind of like, wow, this is really challenging.
Yeah, I feel like I missed the
Right.
boat on this one because I don't know about you guys. This my like entire history with the Sega Genesis, I feel like is like a handful of franchises. Like obviously Sonic. I got huge into Toe Jam and Earl,
Yeah.
Echo the Dolphin,
Hmm.
Vector Man,
Streets of Rage, that was a big one.
Streets of Rage,
us.
Maximum Carnage, Aladdin, Hyperstone Heist.
Hmm.
That might be it.
Don't forget
I played the Michael Jackson game.
That's still a lot.
Don't forget Lion King as well on the Genesis as well.
Yeah. Lion King is historically difficult.
Oh, that was a tough game.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy I grew up and then I realized that other people had difficulty with that game.
Oh god, the monkey level, man.
Didn't they
Oh,
reveal
yeah.
that they made that like impossible on purpose or something?
Right. Because I mean, we had. But like, yeah, growing up, I just thought I just wasn't that good. But I'm happy to know that it was just very, just very difficult.
Even Aladdin.
Yeah.
Even Aladdin was tough.
Yeah, Aladdin was tough.
And I learned. I watched SNES Drunk video on this game, and apparently the Japanese version of this game is easier. Apparently, they
interesting.
toned down the assets in this game, and the bosses are actually easier in the Japanese version, which is not right. That's not the way it's supposed to go.
Not how that works. It's supposed to be the other way around.
Yeah, that's not the way it's supposed to go. And also, I want to know. Kevin, we talked about this when we did Earthworm Jim, but what's the deal with using popular classical music in these older 90s games? Like they use the Nutcracker on the second boss.
I have a theory.
And go ahead.
So,
yeah, I don't know.
I'm just guessing that I think it's because the cartoons that kids were watching at the time did the same thing. And, it probably mostly stems from Bugs Bunny when he would do like opera and other classic things like that were, public domain. So the cartoon could use it. That's a big part of it, probably, is the public domain part. But yeah, I think it's because like if you watched like Tiny Toons and Animaniacs and even the Looney Tunes at the time, I think we're all doing it. So they're like, this is something kids like. They think it's funny when you put classical music in things.
Sure. I think there's that connection, and then perhaps it's just a way to make it a little bit cheaper as well. Because it's not something that I necessarily enjoy because it just seems like it feels like a commercial. It feels so generic. But yeah. Oh, I do really enjoy the mini games in this game. I just feel like they're too long.
I didn't even know it
there's
had
like,
those.
Like there's the basketball one, which like I unlocked the basketball mini game. I have no idea how. I did it a couple of times.
That's the best, and that happens a lot in older games where you're like, okay, I got this for some reason.
Now. Yeah. It's just like you're doing improv. You're just like yes and. So yeah, I played the basketball one where you have to like use your head to shoot the baskets that are like flying over you. I think you can skip it, but there's 9 or there's 8.
The Sonic video games had that. You remember like the thing where you would have to walk in the 3D environment into like the balls and change the color?
Yeah.
I never knew how you triggered that.
Yeah. So there's 8 or 9 mini games, and then if you complete all of them, that gives you a password for the secret level at the end of the game, which is just really funny because like you could just get the password from your friend, but like now it would never work, of course, because it's just going to be on the internet. But that's the way you got to the secret level.
I miss that, just that whole like mystery and like urban legendy, like finding passwords and did you know this? And it's gone now. But like I said, I enjoyed my time with it. I'm kind of surprised they didn't try to revive him on like Dreamcast or something with one 3D game.
Well, this is the closest they came to doing that is it's in the classics collection that they have.
Yeah,
And isn't it on
but
the Sega Genesis Mini?
Yep.
Yes, I think so. And do you know why this game is like single player? Because I think that would have been another just another easy selling point as well. Now you could just pass the controller, but I think if this game is multiplayer, that would have helped.
I could see that.
Yeah, just I think that's just kind of an odd choice they made. I don't know.
So since my audio was lost forever, Mario Party I put at number 10.
Okay.
So I probably would put
Hey,
Dynamite Headdy.
whoa, I got more notes.
Oh, I was just gonna give my spot, but okay.
Spots at the end. You got to build suspense. My notes are actually kind of a tangent, though. It was something that because this is called a mascot platformer, is like a term they use for this type of game. I just thought before we rank it real quick, I got these notes on the history of Sega mascots, which I thought was really interesting. So I didn't know this, but do you all know who Sega's first mascot was?
I used to.
Isn't it that red circle thing with glasses?
Nope. Maybe. Their first mascot was a rabbit that they put in all the instruction booklets for the Sega SG-1000. His name was Professor Azobin. He was a little rabbit, and maybe he was red with glasses. I don't know. But they would put him in every single instruction booklet because he was their mascot. And then from there, Professor Azobin was briefly replaced by something that I think is a way better name. Briefly replaced by a human-looking character called Dr. Games.
Dr. Games.
Dr. Games is way better. He replaced Azobin for 12 games. That's it. And then the rabbit returned. So, hey, Dr. Games here. I'm here to tell you about your games. I love Dr. Games.
So I looked him up. He's just a generic rabbit in a suit.
Yeah. Look up Dr. Games.
I know. I looked up the.
Right.
I looked up the character I saw about it. His name was Cool Spot.
This is now the Dr. Games podcast.
Yeah, Cool Spot was one of.
I'm the only
remember
one
when
cares about
licensed
Dr.
games were
Games.
pretty good?
All right, so from Dr. Games, it went back to Professor Azobin, and then they got a little weird with it for some reason. They changed their mascot to Opa Opa, which is a spaceship from Fantasy Zone, and they had that as their mascot for some reason.
Dr. Games is creepy. He's got no knees.
But the problem with that was Fantasy Zone was available on other consoles, so they were like, this is not going to work as a mascot. So then they moved on to Alex Kidd.
Yep,
We all know
okay.
Alex Kidd. He's the weird monkey-looking kid. And he had 6 games,
Yeah.
and then
They're all
Sonic...
terrible.
They're all terrible, I guess. Alex Kidd had 6 games, and then Sonic the Hedgehog dropped and changed everything. So just thought I'd say that. I like the history of the Sega mascots. I love Dr. Games. This is now the Dr. Games podcast featuring Nintendo.
How was Kid Chameleon not considered like for a mascot for them?
I think there's more that they considered that are not on this list because I definitely saw an article related to this that they considered Toe Jam and Earl for their mascot for a brief second, but Toe Jam and Earl were determined to be too American for international audiences.
Okay. The hedgehog was a little more, global.
Yeah. I don't know what's American about 2 aliens. Like they don't even look human, but whatever. Probably the hip hop angle.
So, can I give my where it is now?
No, you go last. So Harrison.
Oh.
No, yeah, where do you rank it?
Sean, go ahead.
I'd put it at like 12th because I enjoyed it. I just unfortunately didn't get into it enough to really spend more time with it.
So below Dreamland?
Yeah, like it's probably the best Sega game we've played.
Okie dokie. And where did you say you put Mario
So
Party?
Mario Party's number 10.
1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Oh, I already had it on there. Okay.
We need to have numbers on this list.
Yeah, I'll work on that next week. Harrison, where are you going with Dynamite Headdy?
I'll go number 9. So it's going to be between Sin and Punishment and Demon's Crest, and I feel pretty good about that. I mean, I enjoyed this game. I don't think there's that there's enough nostalgia surrounding a lot of these older like Saturday morning cartoon games, but it's definitely a game to play. I just don't know if you're ever going to stumble upon it. That's just my own thing.
And I ranked it right below. Wait, where's my list? Here we go. I ranked it right below Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, just because I like that as a puzzle game. Keeping the Sega games together here, though. So that's kind of like towards the lower middle, but still the middle of my list there.
Yep.
It's actually the top of the bottom 10, if that makes sense. It's 10 from the bottom.
Okay, so not any Sega games really cracking, top 8 territory for us.
You know what? I won't spoil it. But there is a Sega Genesis game on the service that will be in my top 10 for sure.
I have one as well, but we'll see if it comes up.
Speaking of what comes up, let's see what we are playing next time.
Super Nintendo, I'm guessing.
Close. There is a version of this on Super Nintendo.
Okay.
It's selected the Game Boy Advance version, so I think this is our first Game Boy Advance game, isn't it? Yeah.
I believe so.
Yes.
So the confusingly titled Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2 is what we'll be playing. I have not played this version.
Okay.
I've obviously
Advance
played
2.
Super Mario World. So is there a difference?
Yes, there is a
want to
difference.
say what is the difference, Momo? Because they added stuff to them, didn't they?
Yeah, let's see, Super Mario Advance 2 remake of Super Mario World Game Boy Advance. The game centers around Mario with the help of Yoshi, Rescue Peach. What's the I remember there's I know there's differences, but I can't remember what.
I know
the game's so old. Yeah,
I know they added levels to some of them with the e-reader cards, and on the Switch Online they let you just like select those levels. But at the time there was like a peripheral where you'd attach this thing to your Game Boy Advance and you had to swipe a trading card through it, and it would unlock levels for certain games, and these were one of them.
Well, a lot of people are saying that the original. I'm just looking up here. They said the original on the original Super Mario World is better than the Super Mario Advance 2. A lot of people saying that the second one a lot of people saying they downgraded graphics, music, no shoulder buttons to like the few people actually don't like the advanced version.
Wonderful.
I'm reading.
Well, we can have. You know what? Let's talk about. Let's just talk about both versions next week. Like I'm sure there's games we should have done this for already, but why not?
Yeah.
Because that way we can knock 2 off the list, and we don't have to redraw Super Mario World when it comes up.
Yeah.
Let's get it over with.
All right. So you can knock the Yoshi's Island one out then, right?
Well, that's true. That is true. Is that the only one on the list?
It's a slippery slope. Yeah. Which one is? Yep, Mario Advance 3, Yoshi's Island.
And Mario Advance 4 you can knock off too. Actually,
what's Mario Advance 4?
You can knock all of them off. So Mario Advance 4 was Mario 3.
Oh, we've done them all. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so you can knock all of them.
It's funny that it picked this one because that's the only one of them we haven't covered yet is Super Mario World.
Well, there you go.
All right, so we'll have a big Super
confusing.
Mario discussion next week, and we'll discuss. Let's play all of those and talk about how they all compare to their originals. That sounds like it'll fill some time. Because I feel like it's going to be another slow news week. It's summer. There's not a lot going on.
Oh, you never know, mate. Hey, when is TGS? Is in a few weeks.
That's in September.
Tokyo Game Show. Well, I feel like it was earlier.
I think it's September. So if I'm
I
right,
feel like
it's going to be another slow
one
news
company. Maybe one company has a presentation left that hasn't done one, or an outlet. I'm not positive.
Well, they're not going to top that Gex announcement.
Well, didn't they yesterday? Didn't they Xbox do like an ID at Xbox showcase like a day or so ago?
Xbox is the one company I don't pay any attention to. I don't have any bias against them. I just don't own an Xbox. So,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So yeah, that about wraps everything up for this week, I think.
Yep.
Keep in mind, we are just Nintendo fans, just humble little Nintendo fans, not Nintendo experts. So if you'd like to send us any corrections on anything we said today, let us know. We have an email address, nintendotherapypod@gmail.com. And now Spotify has a comment section below, so you can let us know right there. And I got to start checking that. I didn't check last week to see if we got any comments. So from now on, I'll check that every time I upload an episode, and I will put it into the notes for the next episode. So leave us comments.
Yes.
Yeah. Let us know what the most confusing Nintendo title is. Is it Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Brothers 3? Is it another one?
I always like to go back to Wario World Super Mario Wario Land Super Mario Land 3. That one always confused. That was where it started getting confusing.
Of course, it started with Wario, and then you know what? Maybe, like you said, maybe we should organize coming up, to do a Mario Kart or Mario Party.
Whose land is it? Is it Mario's land or Wario's land? All right, yeah, we'll see you all next week, and we'll talk some more Nintendo.
Yeah, mate.